We are back.
We were talking about teacher rulers. Okay, so here's the deal. So there's going to be different parts to this lab. Now, when you get to part one, what you're going to do here is that first off, you're going to, and again, stay with the spirit of how I wrote this lab. So on this one, what you're going to do is you're going to take the vernier probes, which I'm guessing you all have worked with, like temperature probes or whatever.
Yes.
And you're going to, this is going to screw into the end of the pressure sensor, okay? And what you're going to do here is that you're going to look at this as a function of volume. So you're going to go 5, 7, 10. Now, the instructions actually say that...
Yeah, Jason. Oh, he's not here.
He left. He walked in, he was
gone.
like, I gotta go, all block.
He's gone. He's no longer with us.
He's
dead.
Rest in peace,
So
Jason.
I swear to God, that boy has never walked out of his class and not come back to get something. No, I swear to God, he never has.
And his papers are just everywhere.
Yeah.
Jason's organization is so bad.
Oh, it really is. Okay, so anyway, so here's the deal. So what you're going to do here is that you're going to go through and look at the relationship between pressure and volume. Now, you've got to pay attention to the instructions in terms of what you're holding constant and what you're going to change. Now, in this one, if you want to go through and actually store the data, I've got instructions here where you press the mode button, enter the volume as name and milliliters, all this, or you can just go down here and write it in here, okay? I don't care what you do, it's how technically savvy that you want to get with the lab quest, okay? If you just want to go old school, you can do that, okay? I don't care, it doesn't make any difference. Now, so here's what's going to be important. So you're going to draw this, say, okay, hey, what's going to happen, all this good stuff. But what's going to be important is that you're going to set it for a volume of 5 milliliters, okay? And you're going to go through and you're going to get the data and all this good stuff, okay? So then, with the syringe disconnected, if you go down to number 5, with the syringe disconnected from the sensor, position the piston so that the front edge of the black is at 5 milliliters, connect the syringe to the pressure sensor, hit the 5 milliliters. Then you're going to pull it back to the 7. So in other words, you want this thing set at 5, you're going to screw it on. Then you're going to pull it back to 7, you're going to get a reading. Then you're going to pull it back to 9, 11, 13, 15, all the way up to here, and you're just going to get a reading on each one of those. And so, and you're going to make sure that this is reading in kilopascals. Okay, that's what it should default to read your pressure in kilopascals. Now, again, if you want to keep this technically data, you can. Now, part 2. On this one, we're actually going to change the number of particles in the system. So we're going to change the number of timmies. Okay, we're going to change the number of timmies. Now, I'm going to admit right now, I thought of you, Joel, when I was running this off. We're going to talk about puffs, okay?
Yes.
Okay? Stop. Okay, it disturbs me that you all do that so well. Stop! No. Stop. It sounds like a leaking tire in here.
You gotta get the O one, right? And then you gotta blow through the circle. You gotta hit the...
No, I don't. At my age, I'm lucky that I'm still breathing. Okay.
He's just gonna stop one day in the middle of a lecture.
Yes, I'm done. See ya.
Increase the pressure.
Go get the fire syringe! Okay. Do work on the chest! Okay.
You sound like a dying seal.
Now, so here's what's going to be important, okay? So this is how we're going to define a puff, right? It's going okay, a puff is going to be defined as 3 milliliters.
So dumb.
Is 3 milliliters of air. So here's what you're going to do.
Oh, baby, I'm smoking
Shut it.
Fat Puffs.
So you're gonna put in 1 puff, 3 milliliters. Then you're going to hook it up to the pressure sensor, and then you're going to pull it back to a volume of 10. And then you're going to get a reading. So when it says 1 puff, you're going to set it at 3, hook it up to the pressure sensor, pull it back to 10. Okay? Now, then you're going to disconnect it, and then you're going to disconnect it, pull this back to 6, because this is going to be 2 puffs. Then you're going to pull that back to 10. Then you're going to have 3 puffs, which is going to put you at 9. That isn't going to take much. Now, eventually, when you get to like 6, on that one, you're going to pull it back to like 18 milliliters, but then you got to compress it back down to 10. So what we're holding constant is the size of the room. If you go with your second grader analogies, we're keeping the size of the room the same, okay? A size of 10. But what we're doing is we're continuously increasing the number of kids in the room, okay? From 3 to 6 to 9 to 12 to 15 to 18. But we're always going to end up in the same size of the room, okay, if that makes sense. And again, you can go through and you can hit collect and all this good stuff, or you can just write it down on the data table. It doesn't make any difference. Now, part 3, pressure and temperature. This is what's going to get a little bit more complicated in terms of your technique. So on this one, what we're going to do is you're going to have these big, you'll see them in there, these are going to be these big glass test tubes. And this, you're going to have a rubber stopper on the end of the syringe that's going to fit nicely in there. And that's going to get hooked up to the pressure sensor. So on that one, and I'll show you how that all works when we get in there. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the temperature. We're not going to change the temperature, we're not going to measure the temperature of the gas inside the tube. What we're going to do is we're going to measure the ambient temperature of the stuff that's around it. So, and again, if you want to go through and set up this and record all the data, or you can just record the data on another sheet of paper, I don't care, whatever you want to do. Because, why did I not include that data table? Okay, on that one you're going to have to draw your own data table. That's weird, I thought I had put that in. Okay, so here's what you're going to do. What you do is you're going to change the temperature of this system. So you're going to start with an ice bath, and I'm going to have ice in there, and you're basically going to warm this thing up, or cool it down, and you're going to measure, this one you've got to have 2 things. You've got to have a temperature probe, and you're going to have the pressure sensor. So what you want to do is you're going to dump the temperature probe in there, and the tube, so that you're measuring both the temperature and the pressure. So then what you're going to do is you're going to continuously alter the temperature by adding warmer water to it, and then that's how you're going to change the temperature. But what you want to do is it takes a little bit of time, because you've got to wait for that temperature to level off, so that that's a measure of the reflection of the temperature that's inside that test tube. So you're going to alter the temperature, you're going to alter the pressure, and then you're going to see what's going to happen with that. And then you got a bunch of questions to answer. So let's go do science.
Please.
Easy with the puffs.